Well, I mean, that's where my go-to is the Love Boat. Yeah, it's like, hey,
A nice
adventures
crooner.
awaiting.
Yeah.
I still think it's a valid idea. I can't imagine. I mean, like, at least people would go like, I know that one. I know that one.
Right.
I think I may have mentioned this during the whole karaoke aspect of it, but we went to a karaoke bar. There was two camps and they were duking it out. And I mean this in every sense of the word. They were violently opposed to each other. There was like this like yuppie group who were singing all like, Debbie Gibson or like a Duran Duran or pop, like bubblegum pop level. And then this other group who was on the other side, it was like Metallica, anything that like Henry Rollins, anything they could have that was the harsher, the better, and as soon as they would sing, let's say, something by Tiffany or something like that, then the other group would come right after that and just belt out some sort of angry Megadeth song. And then it'd go back to, like, oh, we'll counter your Megadeth with, this sticky sweet Wham. Or we're going to counter that with, and it's just, holy crap. We were just like watching this. This is like, the Hatfields and McCoys of karaoke. It was just this feud, and they were assaulting each other with song. And I was like, that's karaoke right there. Well played. I doff my cap to you. I said, good day.
You hit me with it. I think I'm alone now. Well, face
Yeah.
Face my Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, enter Sandman. Oh man, it's like Whitney Houston versus until they closed the place down. It was just they kept going back and forth.
I'll see your careless whisper and raise you an Iron Man.
Yeah. Careless Whisper. I do like that song though.
You're listening to And This Is Why I Love Comics.
Andy and Mike. Andy and Mike.
Please elaborate.
And welcome to another episode of And This Is Why I Love Comics. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And hi. Welcome. We are the podcast of cantankerous old men. We're old. We love comics. We love talking about comics. Let's just admit, we love talking.
Good morning. We're almost getting to the season, and I kid you not, there is a YouTube video where somebody had created a 10-hour loop of Last Christmas. It's just on repeat. It's the video, so it just keeps looping the video.
Like
over
the same
and over.
version, or they?
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same for 10 straight hours.
Because now you get like 12 different artists singing the same.
Oh
song.
yeah. No, it's the original. It's George Michael, Wham, Last Christmas, and it's just as soon as it's done. I mean, it's not even like the last note fades out. It's just like, what? We're back. And
I like that song, but
oh yeah,
I couldn't Hello Pussycat that for
what's new, Pussycat? That's still the best bit. And then they threw in like one song that was like not it. It's like, oh, thankfully, mercifully, at long last, that's gone. The nightmare's over. Oh, crap, it's back. We went down to Tennessee on one of our family trips, and we usually, make our way to Tennessee, and they had a jukebox. And we looked to see if they had it. What's New Pussycat? Just to play it once.
Right.
For those who might appreciate that joke, they would get it. I saw someone had done like an animated version. It was like a kind of a sketches, but they took John Mulaney's bit and they kind of storyboarded it with like a slight animation. And they just made it infinitely better. It was just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. But yeah, there's some good karaoke stuff out there, and there's some good jokes out there too.
Like those MSTs with the missiles coming up. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, Rock and Attack USA or whatever.
Right, yeah. Good morning.
One of those Gamera movies.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
That's too good.
Yeah, those held up, man. I mean, like, there's been a lot of times that I just run that in the background. I'm not even watching them anymore, but it's just, all of a sudden it just brings it all back. It's like, oh, crap, that was so funny.
Yeah, a lot of it's just the way they say it, you know. It's
Yeah.
I don't even have to watch the movie, but, you know, you call me Mr. Tibbs, you know, and I'll crack up.
Yeah. Big with large, huge. Oh, man.
Just a few dozen more.
Yeah. Gonna fish your fong.
Fong.
Yeah. I'm right behind you.
Still the best one.
Theory of fist? Theory of flight? I'll show you the theory of fist. Henry Kissinger says, Merry Christmas.
Use the handrail. Safety on the stairway.
Yeah. I invented those for a reason. And the movie was so ridiculously bad. So
I still haven't seen that.
My son, every time we go by it, I do it to him, and I don't know if he gets tired or if he's just like sympathizes with his old man getting into his like in his ways. But yeah, O'Keefe Cleaners is down the street. And it's like, hey, Keegan, how much O'Keefe is in this movie? Miles O'Keefe.
He's like, okay, Dad. Yeah, Miles.
Yeah.
He probably says it before you do. Yeah, Miles O'Keefe.
Miles O'Keefe.
Yeah.
Yeah. The original run, and I think there's again that goes back to that phrase, you can't go home again. But Riff Tracks can. Holy crap, they've gone back and kept it going. Mercy.
They know how to do it.
Stuff. And I think the fact that they got rid of all the need for the extras.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, just stick to being funny.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to have these cutaway moments. You don't have to have the silhouettes.
Right, because those don't stand up as well. You know, they're not as funny now.
No, and when they went to the widescreen, you know, one of the things was like, they did take up space. It's like, okay, so then it became intentional. But then when they went widescreen and they shrunk them, then it's like, oh, that's right, they're down there, aren't they?
Right.
And it looked like, oh, that was just kind of a bad idea to have them down there. And then they kind of did like because we're doing this against a green screen, we can make them fly. And it's like, with no intent. I mean, it's one thing like in, what was it, City Dwellers or something like that, when there was some like nudity that Joel gets that umbrella. It's like, I think it's going to rain.
Right, yeah, covers it up.
Covers it up with that umbrella just strategically placed.
Right.
And it's like, oh, that was brilliant. You know, some of that stuff worked. Or when Mike had like his puppet dinosaurs he put in front.
Right.
And it's like, "Rrr." You know, it's
Right.
like, that was great. Or the dark symbiote that was like Crow, but, you know,
Right. Well, some of
know,
the theater stuff worked. It was just the other
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's like,
But this new one, it's just like, and then, you know, it's like, okay, at 20 minutes in, oh, yep, here comes Gypsy from the top, drops off a mystery suitcase,
right.
and then goes back up, and then
Adds a
later on
comment that isn't funny.
No, yeah. And it's like, meh.
That was the worst thing, was Gypsy, so.
Yeah, and that was, I think, the strongest like representation of everything that went wrong with that.
Yep.
It's like you changed the stuff that didn't need to be changed, and you know, the things that should have been changed, you didn't touch at all. Like the things that should have been changed was like, make it funny. But,
Don't sound so scripted.
yeah, well, and that was one of the things, and there was like an amazing YouTube video about like what went wrong with that season, and a lot of it is still lingering as to what went wrong. They basically said, you know, with the original crew, they wrote their jokes, you know, but if you look at like the new season and you look at all like the writers, most of those guys aren't using their own jokes or even referencing their own jokes.
Right.
And so to them, they probably don't even understand it. It's like somebody might say like, oh, here comes Hugh Beaumont. Where's the beeve? And it's like to that, whatever his name is, Jonah. He's probably, who's Hugh Beaumont and who's the beeve? Oh, you just say it. It's funny. Just trust us.
Yeah,
like,
somebody will
okay.
get it, just not you.
Yeah, and so when he delivers, it's like, here comes Hugh Beaumont. Where is the beeve? And it's like, It just lands, dead. And it was incredibly noticeable because obviously you and I both funded that first, Bring Back MST.
Sure did.
Yeah, the money well spent.
Right.
And literally, I funded this show, and all I got was this crappy T-shirt.
Right.
So you're looking to see your name in the credits. When you had to wait for so long that they actually had 2 songs going on, like they had to go through one song and then a second song before they even got to the Kickstarter credits, knew there was way too much production going on in this thing. The original is it was like Joel, and Joel would appear again, and then Joel would appear again, like writer, starring as, producer, and then like Trace would appear several times, and Frank and Kevin. They had maybe 8 people, and they just kind of all did all of this stuff, and the credits were done in no time. And you didn't mind sitting through it to see that little stinger at the end of oh yeah, that dopey moment in the movie. But in these, it's there's so many credits.
Look out for snakes.
Eega. Oh man, that's. How many of those movies had terrible songs in it?
All
I know
of them?
one up and coming pop star that's hopped up on Goofballs.
All right. We loved that stuff so much it became, things we can rattle off. Even now, I haven't seen a new or an old episode in years, but that's still just hilarious. And I couldn't tell you one joke.
None.
On the new stuff. None. And I've seen those within the last 3 years or whatever.
Yeah. It just doesn't have the lasting impact.
Nope. Quite the opposite.
I couldn't even tell you what movies.
Yeah, I don't either.
You said, watch out for snakes. And I'm going, oh, that's from Ega. But I couldn't tell you, a movie that was even done.
Nope.
So it's just.
And I laughed at a couple things, but it wasn't to the degree of laughter before, and it wasn't out loud it was, that's cute. That's it. There was nothing. Yeah. Some of the movies were pretty good to watch and do that stuff. I just don't think they knew how to do it.
They all had flaws, but Jonah didn't. Joel was always that sleepy dude who was kind of you could tell he was just not quite there, and Mike was kind of the dim-witted guy from Wisconsin. Jonah is I'm too cool for this.
Right.
And it's you kind of lose that nerdy cred.
Yeah, people
Way
have spent,
too deep.
Their careers dissecting these panels. You're not going to gain anything from our brief conversation, but
yeah, one thing I will say that was interesting, and I kind of forgot about it up to this point, was when we were doing stuff with the DC, we had the DC Comics license, and we were making, Batmobiles, and we were making some other DC related products. Our key contact at DC was one of the characters that showed up in the comic. He was just a person in the crowd, but I'm going, holy crap, that's Kevin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of I forgot about that.
Is it Kevin Dooley?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, Kevin.
That's cool.
But yeah, it was just
George Perez would do that too. He'd put people in the background and stuff like that.
Yeah.
George Perez, and so I like
It's
it
a
when they
family.
do that and you recognize them or something like that. It's kind of cool. It's a nod to them. They probably get a thrill out of it,
It's dang, that's me. That's me. I'm immortalized in this comic forever, and in having a pivotal comic like that.
Yeah.
My son actually has that Kingdom Come Superman shirt, with the black interior of the S.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he loves that shirt.
Yeah.
It's just.
It is a great look.
Yeah. It was a little, obviously showing that it's darker times, kind of a thing, but it was still pretty cool. Yeah. And, so the character designs, like you said, bringing the characters back to who their ancestral or progeny would be and what they were like.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, but it was also, I think this may have been the 4th or 5th time I'd gone through it.
Yeah.
I said, a lot of it was due to the fact that, oh, look at this background. You see that little thing that's there? Ooh, look at this. You know what that is? Yeah, it's oh, dang it. Just Just enjoy the story. Read it for the story.
I really did enjoy his take on Superman. I enjoyed probably that characterization the most. You know, how Lois died by the hands of the Joker, spoiler alert, and, you know, he called them Earthlings now, and, you know, it was kind of separated himself
Distanced.
from everything.
Don't call me Clark.
Right.
It's Cal.
You know, I loved that kind of aspect to it. It was well thought out, and probably the Superman character, even though he's my favorite character, like in this book, I think they did him justice. You know, unlike Star Wars where they made Luke a wimp for no reason, this Superman had a reason, and then he became the hero again, and then, you know, had a redemption arc where Luke was just lame.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd heard some stuff about another reason why that kind of went down like that. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was a good, you know, story across the board, interesting characters across the board. But having read it enough that, and the other people, like I said, you know, have already done a better job than we could, you know, per se. It's like, yeah. You know, I just think of our overall rating. When do you think you might reread this again? You think another decade's going to have to pass?
I'm not sure that I will.
Yeah, true.
I'll own it, and it'll be on my bookshelf, but I might page through it to look at it, but I'm not sure I'll read it again. You never know, though.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to justify another, like, especially, you know, the prestige means that it's got more pages, and there's 4 of them, and it's like, I mean, I even got like the full set of these action figures that came out, like DC Direct.
Yeah, they're good action figures.
Yeah, they're beautiful. You know, like the Dead Man figure is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, it still resonates. It still has a good solid place, but it just doesn't have, like I said, I probably won't need to reread it. It's to go back to Pee Wee Herman, you know, hey, are you going to, you know, stick around and watch the rest of the movie? You know, watched it. I lived it. You know, it's like, thanks, Pee Wee. Your wisdom is very true there. But it's the same thing here. It's like, I read it so many times that I don't, you know, think I need to read it again. I can just kind of like open up the book, flip through it, go, yep, that's exactly what I remember.
Right.
You know, I don't need, and you know, some of these secondary characters, is it that important that I know who they are? No.
Nope.
But I know exactly what the intent was, and I know like some of the key points that were like, wow, I never thought about doing it that way, you know. I think that the most pivotal point was with Captain Marvel shouting out Shazam and using that magic of these lightning bolts to fry Superman. It was like, oh, that's kind of brilliant.
Right. And it's the first time they've used that. They've used it 1,000 times since because it was so brilliant, and they kind of water it down. But yeah, that was the first time I remember ever seeing that. And I thought, wow, why didn't anyone think of that before?
Yeah. And so that was really good, you know, and like some of these other things. But like, you know, when I opened up the book and it has basically the Sandman, the Golden Age Sandman is like one of your first characters you focus on. It's like, man, if you had no DC history, none of this makes any sense.
Nope.
And you're really out of luck. And then it just gets worse from there. So
Agreed.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Great story overall. It has a great tale to be told, and it. One of the things I will also say about it was Kurt Busiek also referenced this in his Justice League Avengers crossover, and how that when the Marvel characters crossed into the DC universe, how that it was like, these guys worship you. There's a Flash museum.
Right.
You guys, you heroes are like the focus of this universe. And it's true how different DC is from Marvel in that regard, that the heroes are truly epically heroes. And, there's a clean cut connection between them and their, the populace. And then when it comes to that, this story kind of focused on, what would happen if these heroes kind of went away, and that DC Comics as a whole was moving away from these classic true heroes being heroes.
Which they're doing right now.
Yeah, and it's like, Fate, they melted the Dr. Fate helmet into a knife.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, what?
Lame.
And all these other, like, really kind of ridiculous characters that were just like, I'm out for vengeance. And it's like, that's not what DC's about. Right. And this comic kind of brought that back to the forefront of, like, what makes DC Comics great is its heroes are heroes.
Well, and it's great, too, where the Justice League comes back and they're godlike. They mop up everybody else that they can and put them all in prison. Like, within a couple months, they've taken care of everything that was the problem. Just how immensely powerful they are. And, that's great.
And again, it showed that they had a path, a trajectory. They weren't the same characters that they always had been. They changed as well, and it gave them a chance to, gave them a window to change. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Batman took over the town. He finally used his money.
Yeah.
Instead of his own skill and hard labor, he used his money and bought safety and security to Gotham.
Yeah.
And, Wonder Woman, they all basically evolved into their highest state, like you said. And it's like, yep, that's...
Right. The Flash ran around, Keystone City and all the time, like every second, help people,
just the blur.
Yeah. Yeah, it was some great visuals and great thinking by Wade and Ross, where these characters would go. It's a good story. I don't want to downplay it. And the art's great. It just, for me, didn't feel as wonderful as I thought it would coming back to it. And that's just age, I think.
Yeah, interest fades. I mean, you think about like stuff that you were into as a kid or even in your 20s.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a fireman. I want to be an astronaut.
I'm a pirate.
Yeah, things like that, we're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then you kind of get older and you realize, that's not exactly the thing I want to do anymore. Or that's not the reality I want to, or, the storylines aren't what you want them to be. Like and this is kind of in the same vein.
Previously on, and this is why I love comics.
It's a good story, great tale, but I think I'm glad I've reread it, but it's time to move on to something else and hopefully explore something new that's going to be amazing, and see what else is out there in the comics publishing world. Because you're floating and there's no real escape from floating. And I think what made it worse, I don't know, are you familiar with it wasn't Creep Show 2. There was a short in that movie called The Raft. And it was the one where the kids get they're all partying and they swim out to the raft and there's like this oil slick that's a carnivorous oil slick. And they wind up kind of stranded on this raft in one of those like floating swimming docks that's in like the middle of a lake. So we were at this summer cottage, went swimming out, and it was just myself, went swimming, and this fish swam by and just cut my leg. I'm bleeding. And I don't know what part of the fish, what it was that was in the water, but something swam by, sliced my leg, and I'm freaking out. And I could only make it as like the closer of the things, not the shore, but this raft, because it's like I had to get out of the water and see what happened to my leg. And I swim out to the raft. I climb up on top of this thing and I look and my leg is just bloody. And it's like, what the heck was that? It was almost like somebody was scuba diving and just sliced me with a knife.
Yikes.
And I was like, what the heck? So I'm sitting on this floating raft in this lake, and not that there was tides or anything, but the raft, how those things usually work is that there's a chain in the center of this thing, and there's a weight that kind of keeps it more or less in place like an anchor. Well, as the evening was approaching, this thing started drifting further and further from the beachfront. And I was thinking like, it'll get closer. And the longer I was waiting to get back into the water with a bloody leg and swim to shore, the further this raft was getting from that shore.
Nice.
And it was like, I am starting to get more and more freaked out by this whole thing. And it's like, you know what? Forget it.
You know, sharks can sense blood, miles and miles away.
Yeah. There's a whole separate ocean over here, but they could sense mine in this lake in
Yep.
northern Michigan. I was like, what?
No thanks.
Yeah. So I panically swam, which was like the worst kind of swimming because you wind up being very inefficient in your movement. So you're actually swimming, you're in the water longer.
Yeah.
Because it was just like flapping arms, flapping legs, completely uncoordinated. And I got to shore, but mercy, that was a moment I still vividly remember.
You were swimming like the man of Atlantis.
Yeah, I went all Patrick Duffy on it. Yeah, just my body undulating like some sort of moray eel. Just and I'm in.
Yeah, done.
Oh, speaking of, did you ever see the pilot for Aquaman? Not the one that was like the spin-off pilot for the Smallville Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
But there was one way back when, and it is brilliantly bad. It is unbelievably. I can sum it up by this key moment. So if you can find it online, it might be on YouTube somewhere potentially, but there's a sequence where he disguises Arthur Curry, goes into a aquatic research laboratory where they're doing experiments on fish. And he goes in there, finds I guess they're called sea stars now. They used to be called starfish. So at the time, I'll just use the old name for him, starfish. He finds this thing. He passes all these other fish of equal worth or more, but he finds a starfish and he smuggles the starfish out by basically shoving it down his pants under his lab coat. And it's like, I'll rescue you. And then like he makes his way out the door and they catch him. I was like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. And he runs. And he outruns the research people and the security team. And of course, they round the corner and then there's a long pier for the water. Literally runs the entire length of the pier. At any point, he could have just jumped off the sides and gotten into the water. But he has to get all the way to the end, dives in, and now he's in a big, long white lab coat.
What?
And he's got, kind of civilian garb on. The moment he hits the water, transforms. He's in the gold, torso covering and the green pants, the green leggings.
Yeah.
The lab coat just vanishes. Apparently it must have been made out of crepe paper or something like that. I don't know. It just dissolved in water. It's gone. And then he reaches in and releases a starfish. And it's like, holy smokes. And that's what I can sum it up by. And I was so hoping it was like a parody but it was like an unreleased pilot. And it was like, yeah, I can see why it never saw the light of day.
Everything I pull up is the Smallville, but
yeah. And this has got to be from either the late 80s or it's got to be late 80s. as far as when this pilot was done. The way I came across it was at a comic shop in Indianapolis, Comics Carnival, had a TV set in their comic shop back in the day, on 38th Street. TV ran a bunch of bootleg, content. So it had the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, the pilot for the Justice League TV show.
That was a classic.
Yeah, with David Ogden Stiers, heavyset gentleman, as Martian Manhunter.
It's the only thing I remember about it.
That Aquaman was part of that kind of like rotation that they would have. And I just remember just stopping at the store and just watching that whole thing roll out in front of me. It's like, I gotta get back to the office, but dang it, I cannot pull myself away from that.
It's like a bad car accident.
Oh man, yeah, every bit of it. You just had to stop and just stare.
Why can't you take it all away?
I do see in issue 5, the inside cover had an ad for The Last Starfighter. He's got one extraordinary chance at a dream of a lifetime.
I will say something about Last Starfighter, not to go off on a completely different tangent.
Hey, I brought it up.
But I would have so loved for that to have been a true story. Because it's like, that's one of those things where it's like, video games will give you nothing. There's
It'll
no
rot
benefit.
your brain.
Yeah. You'll draw nothing of consequence for being a video game player. And it's like, oh, wait. And to me, it wasn't necessarily about the video games. It was called Useless Talents May Pay Off. And that's what I was hoping for, is that somebody somewhere was going to see how good I was at these dumb things that I was good at and make it that I was going to save the universe.
Right.
So yeah, Last Starfighter, just dream fulfillment.
I don't remember anything about that movie. I know I've seen it and I know what it's about, but I don't recall ever having an opinion on that movie one way or the other.
It had the Music Man as an alien.
Oh.
Walking around. I put these video games all over the place. For some reason, I put one in a mobile home park. It's like, okay, fair enough. We had the first one. He's going to break the record.
Did they remake that movie?
Not yet.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, though. They should at some point. There was, I think it was called the Death Blossom, was the ultimate, like, if we do this, your ship is going to self-destruct. It's going to be your demise. But it's the only way that we can defeat this horde from invading. And sure enough, I think they kind of did in some ways, because it was called Ender's Game, where you take some kid and how you utilize them against their wishes. Yeah. And then that kid winds up saving the universe to somewhat against their own understanding. There's a lot where it's just like you don't realize some of the weirdness that goes on at a convention. And some of it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, like, I remember a couple times seeing a grown man almost in tears. And it's like, what's going on? And, and the reason, he was so dressed up in cosplay that he didn't think about, like, what do I do when I have to go to the bathroom? And he was just outside the bathroom going like, how do I take this costume off to go to the bathroom?
Oh no.
Admit something, Mike. That was you.
That grown man, the story is, it was me. Yeah.
If you peed yourself, you probably couldn't make the smell any worse, right?
I will say that Mattel had one of the best Comic-Con giveaways at San Diego Comic-Con. And there was a toy for the Masters of the Universe line called Moss Man. That toy originally had a pine scent in the plastic, so it kind of smelled like pine. Well, they had Eternia arm deodorant, and it had the fresh pine scent to this deodorant stick that they were giving away at Comic-Con. And while I thought that was brilliant, it's also a little insulting, but at the same point, it was really brilliant.
They knew their audience.
Yeah, you gotta laugh at yourself. But yeah, that was one of the best things. Is like, man, the comic conventions, there were some where it's like, I remember at one booth, this guy, like, we had like these glass containers showing the various products we had worked on and we're trying to promote. And this guy comes over to our booth and almost like completely collapses on it. Just nearly passes out on it. He was Darth Maul. So this is, he had the full Jedi black robes, black, layers and layers of cloth. But the guy was easily 300 pounds and had put on the makeup. What looked like it was probably some sort of it was like a paste makeup or something like that. So it was like layered on thick. And the guy was having a hard time just breathing because of the exertion of walking was too much for him. And the makeup, he was sweating. So it was just this caking stuff just running down his face. So you could see the top of his forehead was like the pasty white. And the rest of the stuff, it looked like just like a mudslide. And it's just it was just dripping down his face. And he's like going, "Hey, you guys have some cool stuff." And I'm like going, "Take your time, look it over. If you have any questions, just ask me. I'm going to be over here just laughing."
You want some water?
I know. I felt bad for him. I mean, it was just like, dude, you're going to be exhausted. This was not a heavyset guy, probably stifling amount of clothing on in a hot convention center. Probably hadn't eaten anything, hadn't drank anything. That makeup was just probably doing wonders to his skin. And, I was like, holy mercy, dude.
Oh, Mike, we didn't even get to the story with your mom meeting Terry Austin.
Yeah, just chatting up Terry Austin.
Yeah, we wait in line to meet Terry Austin, and then we find out later that Mike's mom had been chatting with him for the last half hour, just not realizing who he was. And
just talking about random things so these funny books, what are these funny books about? Do you do these things? What kind of stuff do you do?
I like how you almost have her be Jewish. Oh, these funny books here,
yeah. Go marry a very nice lady. Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Simple things.
Well, she
drove us down there. So.
Yeah, so that was, but then she follows that up with two other instances. We're down in Metropolis, Illinois, and they had that Superman festival every beginning of June, and we're just waiting in line for all these people, and my mom's going, "I just don't want to wait in line with you guys. I'll just sit over here and I'll read my book or something like that." So she just sat on a park bench, and this other lady comes down and sits next to her. She asks "Oh, what book are you reading?" And my mom's talking about the books and whatever. And these two ladies are just chatting about various random things. And we get done with waiting in line. We come over, and I go, "Holy crap." And it's and this name won't register probably with either one of you, but my mom was sitting there talking with Noelle Neal, and she played Lois Lane in The Adventures of Superman. In that TV show, and she was also in the movies, the Superman movies, and she actually was in the very first Christopher Reeve Superman movie as a cameo.
Right.
But
wasn't she on the train or something?
Yeah, yep. She and Kirk Allen, who played Superman, were both in that same scene. But it's my mom was just chatting away with Noelle Neal, just Lois Lane, just blah 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 blah, not talking about Superman, not talking just general chatting.
Probably refreshing for no.
Oh, I know. Just a real conversation with a real human being. Not what was it like? No, if George Reeves was supposed to fight Kirk Allen, who do you think would win? Random crap like that, But yeah, it was such a weird. And then she also did the same thing a couple years later. Crap, it was the Catwoman from the Adam West series.
Julie Newmar?
Yes, but it was Julie Newmar. That's right, it was. So she's just
great.
Chatting away with her, just hey, how's it going? And so I remember my mom coming back afterwards saying I just talked to some lady who said she was a cat woman. And it's like, what? It's like, wait, what? And she's like, well, yeah, we were just just walking around, and she was waiting in line for something. And that lady stopped by and got into a conversation.
Don't go decide. Wait. Don't go decide. Wait.
Kind of an opposite kind of story. I took my dad actually drove me to New York, to the New York, comic extravaganza or whatever it was. My buddy Dave was there, and while I was getting my portfolio review, my buddy Dave was talking to one of the band members from Guar, and it was the Sexecutioner. And the guy's practically naked except for like body paint, and he's got like this gigantic like plastic bolt that's coming out where like his penis would be. And my dad was just getting angry looking at him. And my dad is like this PTSD Vietnam vet, 101st Airborne. And he's like, where does that guy get off? He was like so mad. And my buddy Dave, I mentioned it to my buddy Dave, and he's like, yeah, your dad wanted to fight that guy.
Yeah.
Good times.
I do remember Guar at a couple of conventions because they would roller skate through the convention center, and they would just like swinging weapons, and they didn't care what was going to happen around them as they were just zipping.
Yeah, they were a big deal back then.
Oh man, that was right. I forgot all about. Being in the toy industry, people would come up to our booth and it's like, hey, what do you think about this property or this property? And we represent this group. Would you guys be interested in, licensing and making, toys based off of this? And this lady comes up to our booth and it's like, hey, I got this line of dolls and clothing for these dolls. Would you guys be interested in making it? I'm like going, I don't think this is really a product we would make, but I'm more than happy to talk to you. But it was Daisy Duke.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, but I'm willing to talk.
I loved her.
Yeah.
I had a poster of when I was a kid. I did.
It's a-
Catherine Bach.
I had a Heather Thomas poster, so I don't know which.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember the airsoft guns. That was, I don't know how that happened, but my gosh, that was absolutely amazing.
Wait, what happened?
So Andy's room, we decided to have they weren't airsoft, but they basically were like the equivalent of that in that era. And they just shot those little yellow BB, rubber BBs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you
Weren't
just
they
pull
called
the
like
trigger.
zebra guns?
Yep, Zebra 2. So we had those guns, and we just were firing them off at each other. And for some reason, Andy's only defense was like a slip of paper, like a loose leaf sheet of paper to block. And then he had a gun, and then I had like I don't know what it was, but I was hiding over in the other corner, and then we were shooting at each other. And I remember, I don't know who it was that hit Heather Thomas, but it was strategically placed.
Right.
And it left a mark that it didn't break the picture, but it left a clearly marked divot in the picture in a very, very strategic spot. That was like, every time we looked at it, it was like, huh.
Couldn't help but see the divot. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that room wasn't very big, so I'm not sure why we had the
we-
war in that room.
Where do you guys know each other from?
High school. We were in the same algebra class is where it started. And it went
Nice.
downhill from there.
It's in my heart.
Yeah, Mike sat in front of me on that first day of algebra class, and he had a little Spider-Man drawing that he was, for some reason, swinging around like it was an action figure. And I said, "Hey, you like Spider-Man? Me too." And
You like them Spider-Mans?
a friendship was born.
That's awesome. That's how my best friend and I met. We were busboys at a restaurant, and we stayed late to clean up like a big party, and we both started talking about how much we liked Wolverine. From there, we're like, hey, why don't you come over to my house? I'll show you my comics. And from there, that's how he's my best friend since I was 18 or 19.
That's cool.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting how one little thing can transpire that all of a sudden it's like, oh, that person might be of interest to you. And it's also a little bit like, it's one of those things with great trepidation. You kind of like, do I broach the subject? And I remember, like, at the time, like, no one would have superhero memorabilia whatsoever. Now it's like you see, people who have no idea who Captain America is wearing a Captain America stylized shirt or something like that. And you're like, earn the right. You've not earned the right to wear that shirt, but superheroes are all over the place now. But I mean, at the time, it's like, it was one of those things where it's kind of like, it was almost like a Masonic temple handshake. It's like you had to know a certain level of like, okay, if I do this and this and this, then that will indicate to those who are in the know that you are a fan of comic books, but you couldn't be too overt about it.
Well, that's how Matt and I met, was because...
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
because our kids were in the same class. I think it was first grade, maybe, I don't know. And I had my Superman sweatshirt on, and Matt was across the room, and he must have seen me and instantly felt this. I got to talk to this guy, see if he knows anything about comics, or is he a fraud? And so he came over and said, "Hey, do you like comics?" That's what I remember.
Yeah, I remember chit-chatting and stuff. And then, did I already have my Facebook comic group?
Yeah, you did, yep.
Yeah, did I invite you?
You did. Like that first day, you said, "Hey, I got a group going on Facebook. I'll send you the link," or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's just one of those little, like, how coincidental. Like, it's like, if you didn't happen to wear a shirt that would, draw the attention of another person, then what would have happened?
Yeah, because it was a really crowded room. Like, there was nothing else. And I'm quiet and shy, so it's not like I'm suddenly super friendly talking to everybody. So it's like, if I hadn't worn that, I probably wouldn't have ever been noticed by Matt,
Yep.
I know. We had that immediate attraction. Our eyes met from across the room.
That's right.
Yeah.
It got all steamy in there.
Right, and the music started playing in the background.
The camera went all soft focus. Where did all these candles come from?
Yeah, everyone else is gone.
A light smoke.
I'm not wearing a shirt.
And there's fans blowing the wind.
Right, yeah. The good old days.
Just like that.
Right.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah. I went to Texas in 2013, and that was the last plane ride. And the first.
What constituted that event?
That was a farmer's insurance thing.
Oh, okay. Work gig.
Work.
Working and working. Farmers, yeah. They sprung for the big bucks there. But that's it's interesting because there's a whole different feel when it's like flying on your own volition versus flying for work.
Right.
And not just because of the cost impact and so forth, but it's just
for the cost impact.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, and trips to Europe are a lot different on your dime versus someone else's, so to speak. Yeah. And we're having, Comic-Con trips, and hotel accommodations on another company's dime. I was like, yeah, I can deal with that. Versus, you don't mind doing this because, like, one time, one of the last times I had gone, I had my wife come with me, and so it was truly a split it down the middle. The company paid for me.
Your wife paid for her, and you paid for you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, it's like, if you want to fly out, you can. You're just gonna have to foot the bill. I just happen to work for a place that's covering mine. But yeah, that was interesting because, like, we would do, we hit quite a few places in California, but and ended at the San Diego show. And it was like everything that I was doing is like, oh, this is going to be great. And I realized, wait a minute, half this cost is going to be eaten by me.
Right. Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, well, we might rethink this part of the trip, going over here and here. So, but it was really good though. To get out there and But now there's not really any reason to fly per se.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's not many places in Europe I would want to travel to, even before Crazy World happened. But, I've always wanted to visit Italy, visit the homeland of Sicily. And, don't get me wrong, if I knew it was a peaceful world and no crazies, I'd visit all of Europe. But, I'm an American and people don't like Americans sometimes.
True.
But
yeah, I remember going over there, and I had somebody from Austria, one of the toy inventor groups from Austria, had stopped in and said, it's like, you guys, you never travel. Americans never travel. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But at the same point, we don't have to.
right.
You can fit all of Europe in like the Midwest.
Right. Our land is made for you and me.
Yeah. Elbow room. Yeah, that was, it's like, you want to see water? We got plenty of it. You want to see mountains? We got those too. You want to see Grand Canyons? We got that. You want to see a giant river? We got those too.
Eiffel Tower? Sure, we got that too.
Yeah, if you go to Vegas, you can find just about anything and more.
Right.
So, landmarks, statues.
Little Italy, go to New York. You can contact us and this is why I love comics, @gmail.com. Check us out on the Twitter. Check us out on the Facebook group. Join the Facebook group, and you will get notifications of when we have a new episode out, unless you've already subscribed, to where you download your podcast, and you'll get them from there. Any which way, you'll get little secret information and tidbits and some images of what we talked about, like the Hawkeye miniseries and balls, and a whole bunch of stuff. And we are planning on doing a monthly YouTube episode, but we're still working out all that stuff. So maybe February we'll hopefully start that, or maybe even March. We're not gonna rush it and make it bad. We're gonna take our time and do it right. So and this is why I love comics. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And we will talk to you soon.
Happy 2023.
Woo, woo. Bring on the Thunder Chicken. Thanks again, Thunder Chicken, for letting us use your music. Go check them out on Spotify.
Simple things. What are things? I want to fly. I'm not afraid to die. Yeah, I guess all of you have felt almost all of them. These animals need to live. I know what you feel sometimes. Yes. Talk to me.
Yeah, this is new way of thinking. I don't like it. It goes away now. Make it go away.